The victory feels good. And make no mistake about it, every win absolutely matters. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and we're going to break down exactly what went on in the Falcons' 34-27 win over the Washington Commanders in NFL Week 4 of the 2025 season. First things first, I got to say thank you guys so much. You guys really showed out today, not only on the live watch party, but throughout the entire week of making sure that you stay up to date with the very best Atlanta Falcons news, rumors, previews, etc. And if you want free Atlanta Falcons content all year long, off-season, in-season, news, rumors, watch parties, doesn't matter. I've got you covered. Hit that subscribe button right now. Usually I like to start with the offense and then go to the defense. Today, I'm going to start with the defense. It was the perfect bend but don't break mentality. I thought Caden Ellis and Divine Diablo were the two difference makers for the Atlanta Falcons on defense. Their command over the middle of the field, not only in pass coverage, but also in run stopping, was exceptional. They really displayed a full versatility over the middle of the field and never let Marcus Mariota scramble outside of the pocket, outside of maybe 1 to 2 plays, or let him throw the ball down the field. And I get it. There's going to be every single Commanders fan or skeptical Falcons fans that are in the chat right now saying, there was no Jaden Daniels, there was no Terry McLaurin. What's your point? They didn't have Jaden Daniels last week, and they beat the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't care about injuries. You had a game plan. You had an opportunity to go out and win this football game, and you executed on every turn. I'm never going to criticize my team for going out there and getting things that they needed to get done. But Divine Diablo, by the way, has been the best Atlanta Falcons defender by far of 2025. He is everywhere in the run stopping, in the pass coverage. Doesn't matter where Divine Diablo is. He can even get sent on a blitz, and he's there to stop opposing teams. It's outstanding. This defense has been sensational for 3 weeks. Last week, can't get anything going because the offense doesn't score. Fine. But for 3 weeks out of the 4 that have been played, this defense is outstanding. And they absolutely deserve my round of applause. Same to this guy right here. Bit of an injury scare early on for Xavier Watts. But if you remember, I came on this show 3 months ago, right before I took over as the full-time host. And I said, if there's one player that could be a top 3 at his position in the next 3 years, it's going to be Xavier Watts. And right now, he's proven like he is. Couple plays here and there, he gets beat on coverage. He's a rookie. But he makes play after play after play after play. And the interception in the end zone was the tide turner for this Falcons defense. And I have to tip my hat ultimately to Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich. Both of those guys know exactly what they're doing when it comes to the defensive strategy every single week. I will say it wasn't perfect. You gave up 27 points. And in part, due to one player that got cooked on every other play. D. Alford. Nobody's pretending this guy can play because he can't. He can't stay up with Deebo Samuel, who is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. And he was cooking D. Alford off the jump. Line of scrimmage, every play. He was just getting beat over and over and over to the point where he had to hold or commit pass interference. D. Alford is not a starting caliber cornerback. And that's why we need A.J. Terrell back so badly. I cannot watch another game of D. Alford trying to make coverages happen. He gave up a touchdown early. He gave up touchdowns late. He gave up big play to Deebo Samuel over and over and over again. It wasn't perfect, but it did not have to be. because the Falcons ended up making the most of their opportunities. And that's why I have to give it a B+. I give this performance a B+. It wasn't an A performance. Offensively, we're going to talk about why here in a second. Defensively, the secondary outside of D. Alford is so sticky in coverage. They're all over receivers like white on rice. And we're going to talk about the offense here coming up in just a second. Before we do that, I got to tell you about this deal that I've got going on over with our friends at Fanatics. The very best Atlanta Falcons gear. No matter what the situation, win, lose, tie, it doesn't matter. If you want to rep your Dirty Birds, chatsports.com/ATL shirt. This specific shirt right now is 35% off, and there's deals like this all the time. Chatsports.com/ATL shirt. I'll have all of that in the comments and description of today's video. Let's talk about the offense. I think it's fair to say I have no idea what this offense is yet, and that's okay. But I will say this. Why did the Atlanta Falcons come away with the W today? They had an offensive game plan. I sat here before the game started, and I talked to you. I talked to every other Dirty Birds fan. I talked to producer Reed, who was sitting in the chair at the time, and I said, there is one key to victory. Have an offensive identity this game. I don't care what it is, but pick one and stick to it. And Zac Robinson, to his credit, did. They ran the ball effectively. 1-2 punch with Algier and Bijan. And they stretched the ball down the field. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Micahel Penix Jr. All three of them, outstanding performances. Bounce back like you wouldn't believe. London, 8 receptions for 110 yards and a tutty. Kyle Pitts, 5 receptions, 70 yards and a tutty. That's what I'm looking for in my Falcons playmakers. And of course, the quarterback, Micahel Penix Jr., bounces back in a big way. Says, I showed everybody why I deserve to be here. Hats off to MP9 because he was never the issue. It was never Micahel Penix Jr.'s fault. He had a bad game. I'll give you that. But it wasn't nearly as bad as we thought. It was one bad game. This is more who Micahel Penix Jr. is. And Dilly, if you want to pull up Micahel Penix Jr.'s stats, that'd be great. 20 for 26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 bad throw. That interception was entirely on Penix. I'm going to talk about Bijan, and then I'll talk about Zac Robinson, and then we'll get on out of here. Bijan is my MVP. And the reason I say that is because if you took Bijan out of this offense, in this pistol formation that Zac Robinson likes to run, they would fail spectacularly. But Bijan is an unbelievable talent. The patience, the discipline, the field vision, the agility, the athleticism, the strength. You name it, he's got it. Averaged 4.4 yards per carry today, 75 yards, a rushing touchdown, and I don't even want to begin at how good he is when it comes to the passing game. It's clear Micahel Penix Jr. relies on him to be a playmaker, a difference maker, and a game breaker for this Dirty Birds offense. And there finally was an offensive identity today. So hats off to the Dirty Birds who took the W. I want to end today by talking about Zac Robinson. It seems like the move to down the field or onto the field worked in his favor. It's not perfect. There are so many questionable play calls. The CBS Sports crew came on to the broadcast and said 80% of the time that they run the pistol, they're going to run the football. If CBS Sports anchors are telling you what you're going to run, you're probably offering a little bit too much predictability, don't you think? So I have to tell Zac Robinson one thing. You ran 37 plays from the pistol today, not counting penalties. At some point, you're going to have to flip it up Because if you lose another game like you did to the Carolina Panthers, you will never hear the end of it. So, a win is a win, and a W looks good on paper. So give yourself a little pat on the back, a little round of applause, whatever you want to do. But the point remains the same. You've got to switch it up offensively. Because while today looked good, there were still multiple moments that you had to shut out this game, and you couldn't do it. So Zac Robinson, you're still on my list, and I'm still waiting. But for the game plan and sticking to it, I will give you credit. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. I'm going to come back later tonight with another episode for you, talking about what I saw from the Dirty Birds, how I think they can get better, and why going into the bye week at 2-2 is probably the best thing for this football team. Until then, Dirty Birds fans, rise up and be cool.